your Wi-Fi. Hello there. This is your girl Valerie Mason Chase, and
I forgot. Cookie Man.
the Cookie Man. We go through this every single week.
I just be messing around.
Okay. First of all, let me just say that I'm just gonna make the screen bigger because I cannot see the comments. Okay. All right. Anywho, Valerie Mason Chase here with the Cookie Man. Ordinarily, we would stream via StreamYard. This is actually my first time coming directly through YouTube and doing a live through YouTube. And I'm trying to figure out some stuff here. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. So please bear with me. Oh, I see a comment. Hey, so all right. So I know that Jackie's there. Hey, sis. So first of all, I apologize for any technical stuff that I don't know about. Okay. I'm going to have to get used to doing this directly through YouTube, or I'll go back to StreamYard. But anyway, hey, Nene, thank you guys for watching. And those of you who are watching now or watching later, thank you. I appreciate you for watching. Make sure I would appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel, if you would like the video, and if you would share the video. We have a very important topic this evening we're going to be talking about. But before we go into our topic, June is Pride Month. So I want to just give a quick shout out to all of my friends and families who are part of the LGBTQ plus community. Yes, I am a Christian. Yes, I am a minister. Yes, I'm born again and filled with the Spirit and all that. And yes, I know what the Word of God says. However, I do have a heart for those who are part of that community. Our own daughter is a part of the LGBTQ plus community. So I just want to give a quick shout out to you. Hopefully you all who know me won't say, oh my God, Val done lost her.
The month is almost over.
Val done lost her salvation and all that. No, it's not about that. But I do recognize that there are people even within the Christian community who are also part of the LGBTQ plus community. And some of whom struggle with that, and some are comfortable with that. But either way, I know that there are many Christians who are very, very much against those in that community. I, however, am an ally. I have a heart, I have a compassion, and I have love. I believe that when there are two consenting adults who love each other, love is love. And in the words of Imani Antoinette, drink water and mind your business. So anyway, what are you laughing at?
Because you just heard that last, was it 2 weeks ago she said that?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
I already hijacked it?
Yeah, I already hijacked it. I gave her credit. I told her I was going to give her credit for it. So anyway, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the impact of social media on intimate relationships. I know it can impact friendships and family relationships as well, but our topic is going to focus on how it impacts intimate relationships. And, you know, we had just started a conversation earlier this afternoon. We were over our son's house and we started talking about it because I said to Frank, because Frank said, wow, why do we got to talk about that? I said, Frank, it's a very relevant topic. In fact, you and I, we've had our own issues surrounding social media. And I had to remind the brother.
Even as perfect as we think we are.
No. You think you perfect. I know I'm a mess. I know I'm flawed and I know I make mistakes. But all jokes aside, there are several ways in which social media can negatively impact intimate relationships. I mean, there's some positives as well, and we will definitely talk about those also. Yeah, Jackie said LOL. Yeah, he says, you know he ain't got no sense.
No, that should say LOL because of you.
Because of me?
Yeah.
I don't think so. And I also have to figure out how to do the camera on YouTube so that it shows straight. You know what I'm saying? Because
No.
it's looking backward right now. See, that's where everybody sees it. The words are backward. When I do it on StreamYard, I'm able to.
Oh, you mean our shirts?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm able to do the camera in such a way. But
Love you
anywho,
too, Jackie.
I'll figure that out for next week. But what my shirt says is I have everything, and your shirt says, what does it say?
Oh,
It's backward.
I am everything.
I am everything.
But I'm sure they
can figure it out. Okay, we got smart viewers. Anyway, one of the ways in which social media can negatively impact intimate relationships is spending too much time on social media. And excessive time spent on social media has been shown to negatively impact intimate and romantic relationships. If you're spending more time on social media than you are with your partner, then that could be a sign that something isn't right. So what are your thoughts on that, Frank?
Well, I'll just touch upon that briefly, or just giving too much information on social media.
Oh, we're going to get to that. Right now, we're talking about time, the time spent on social media.
Well, yeah, I guess if you had your face in your phone every time you turn around, someone's going to take offense or be bothered by it.
Oh, Jackie said she doesn't see it backwards. Great, because when I'm looking at it, it looks backward to me. But if you can see it straight, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that could be an issue if you're spending so much time on social media and ignoring your partner.
Oh, you know what? As I rethink that, that might have a plus.
How so?
Because if I don't want to be bothered, or if you're spending your time on social media, as opposed to, well, honey, come in, watch TV with me. You're busy, you're doing your thing. Now I'm able to get away and do my thing. Social media could take up the time that she want to spend with me when I don't want to be bothered, I guess.
Yeah, but see, you're not wanting to be bothered with me. That's the problem. Who would not want to be bothered with me?
Boy.
You know, I don't get it. No, but I see what you're saying. But even though you phrase it like that, I still kind of see that as a negative, because rather than saying to your partner, see, it's all about communication.
Sure, okay.
So there should be some communication saying, you know, babe, I'd rather not come in there and watch TV with you right now. I'd rather not go walk on the trail with you right now.
I'll say that in a minute.
Or something like that. Say that to your partner rather than saying, oh, good, she's out there or he's out there scrolling through Facebook. So, you know, I have 45 minutes that I can go and watch the 100th rerun of Law and Order.
The Wire.
The Wire.
This week.
Absolutely, yeah. But spending too much time on spending excessive amount of time on social media could absolutely indicate, could be a red flag, could be an indication that there's something amiss in the relationship. And we talked about this briefly over at John's house. Increased suspicions, snooping, and I'm putting snoopings in quotation marks, and jealousy. Because what is snooping really? And is there such a thing as snooping when you're talking about your husband or wife?
I'm going to say it's kind of that gray area. I would look at it as snooping if you're doing it and I have no knowledge you're doing it. If it's one thing if you do it and say, Frank, in this case, you know, I want to look on your social media page. I want to tick whatever the social media is, whether it's Facebook or whatever the case is, and you're talking to me about it, as opposed to waiting until I'm sleeping or something along that matter, and then all in my phone checking my social media page. I look at that as snooping. To me, I look at it as snooping.
That may be snooping. I want to see what Jackie said. When your screen time totals more than your time you spend with your significant other, that's a problem. You are so right, sis. You are absolutely right. Okay.
If I could just again, why I look at it as snooping, it's like you have to wait till I'm away from my phone or computer to look at these things, to go on my social media page. To me, that's snooping. I look at it that way.
That could be considered a snooping, but when you think about it, not all relationships have the kind of openness where if they said to their partner, hey, babe, I'd like to look at your phone, or could I have the password to your Facebook or your Instagram or something? Not all relationships have that level of transparency. Now, I'm not saying that makes it okay to go in and do it without your partner knowing about it, because again, that openness helps to foster the connection between spouses. So looking at the way you put it, I guess in that regard, you could kind of consider it as snooping, but I think there should be the type of openness and transparency where either partner can say to the other, hey, you know what? I'd like to check out your Messenger or Facebook or Instagram or something like that.
Well, if the relationship isn't as transparent as say, then it's really snooping if you're doing it now.
Yeah, but if that's the only way you can get information, what a sister's supposed to do? You know, I mean, and I'm not necessarily advocating it, but I'm not totally against it, because sometimes a person can have really, really strong suspicions, and the only way to get evidence. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to get the evidence, you have to ask yourself, okay, what am I going to do if I find something? Because hopefully there's nothing there to find.
And on top of that, you don't misinterpret what you find and come to that person with the misinterpret.
With guns blazing.
Right, because you misinterpret.
Oh, yeah,
and you come gun blazing.
Oh, been there.
Now it's messed up. I don't want to kind of explain what you found because you're coming at me with a gun blazing, accusatory tone. Now I'm defensive. And all I want to know is what the hell you're doing in there. Why you do that? None of your business type of attitude.
Well, because if you had given me the password, I wouldn't have had to sneak up in there.
Don't forget it. I done gave it to you a million times. You keep forgetting it.
Yeah, you got a point there. Yeah, but I think anyone who's going to look at their partner's social media, text messages, or whatever, before you do, I think it's a good idea to have some sort of game plan in terms of what you think you might do if you do find something. Now, are you looking just so you can go and fuss and cuss and raise hell, and that's going to be the extent of it? Do you think that you're going to look and, I think my partner is really, really cheating. We need to sit down and we need to have a conversation about this, confront your partner with that and see where that goes. Really think about it before, because, I hate that old saying, well, if you look, you're going to find something. Hate is a strong word, but I strongly dislike that saying, because my feeling is there should be nothing to find, whether you're looking with open transparency or if you're snooping, so to speak. There shouldn't be anything there to find. What did Jackie said? Jackie said she doesn't agree with snooping. When you look, you find. Everything done in dark comes to light. That's really true. Nini said there's a right way, a certain way to approach it. I'm sorry, I have to get kind of close because even with my reading glasses, I can't see too much. So Jonathan, my son, said 20 years ago when Facebook first came out. Okay, if you're gonna read it,
a friend of mine told me that social media was a trap. He was right. More other than not, it causes unnecessary drama in relationships and in life in general.
Well, here's what I feel about social media. Whether it's a trap, whether it's a positive, whether it's a negative, whether it has a detrimental impact on your relationship, or it positively impacts your relationship, depends on how you handle it. That's my feeling, because social media isn't all bad. Social media is social media. It depends on how you handle it, how you handle it, and how I handle the way you handle it, and vice versa. It it doesn't do anything in and of itself. We put stuff out there. We read the stuff. We make judgments about the things that we read. So it really depends. So Jackie says, so if there shouldn't be anything to find, then why snoop? Well, because sometimes there is something, and that's the only way to find out. Again, I'm not advocating one way or the other, because snooping could be a bad thing, but someone else may feel that that's the only way they found out their spouse was cheating, and they were able to confront them and move beyond it. Okay, Jackie, you're right. Things done in the dark will eventually come to the light, but sometimes that eventually is a long time, and you can have very, very, very strong suspicions in all that time. And what do you do with those feelings? That's the question. What do you think, Frank?
I don't know what you do with those feelings. I mean, I could use our recent thing where you went on, I guess, I don't know if you will call it social media, but you found some things that were social media related in terms of pictures and stuff. And
what was this? I don't remember that. What are you talking about?
You found some pictures anyway, and you asked who it was and if they sent it to you. And what I was really thinking sometimes
you talking about them naked women?
I'm not even talk about no naked women.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't want to mention who sent it to me and all that other stuff.
Oh, okay. I get it. I know what you're talking about now.
Initially, what I'm thinking is, because I feel like this has happened to me before. I've been confronted with something on my social media. It was so insignificant, I forgot about it. And then when you forget and don't have an explanation for it, it becomes a big argument. And what happens in our case, that moment in time takes us back to all the other moments and times
when it really was something.
When it was something wrong, or I couldn't explain it. And now everything is all in my face or in our face, and is impacting how we speak, impacting how I feel. And then I get angry. And again, like John my mother used to say, you go looking for something, you go find something. Then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, see, there you go, looking for something good. Now that's what you get for looking. And I'm only saying that at that moment, because whatever was found was nothing, but you misinterpreted.
Yes.
And now we fighting over something. Yes. And
but here's the thing
baby.
Oh, okay, go ahead, baby.
I do agree. There's the part about social media I do like. Mm-hmm. It has connected me with people I haven't seen.
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Okay.
You're getting ahead of the conversation. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. So you made me forget what I was going to say. He made me forget. I tried to say something, and he didn't let me say it, and now I done forgot it. But I do know what it is that you're talking about.
Right.
And so here's the thing. If you see something that you feel is suspicious, do have a conversation with your partner, but the manner in which you approach them means everything. How you approach them means everything. Nini said that, right?
Yes.
You have to approach them in the right way. You cannot come accusatory with guns blazing. I saw this and blah, 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 blah. Say, hey, babe,
or deleting stuff that you find and whatever. I'm digressing. Never mind.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, we'll have to talk off camera.
Okay, we have to talk off camera. He's being triggered by some of the stuff I did years ago.
No, I'm thinking of something that just recently happened, but it was so insignificant, I forgot about it until this moment.
What? I deleted something?
I think so. We'll have to talk about it later.
But honest to God,
so that's part of the snooping. You go in there, you misinterpret something, you delete stuff, and then you don't even say anything about it. I have to find out months later. Well, honey, did you delete something?
No, I haven't done that in years.
And then I did.
No, but honest to goodness, I haven't done that for years. I haven't done that for years. Go on. And Jackie's right. Social media itself is not the problem. It's the people who use it and abuse it. You are so right. But anyway, that's the whole quote unquote snooping thing. Again, there should be no need to do that, because relationships should have that level of transparency where if you ask for access, you should be given it by your partner. Another way that social media can negatively impact intimate relationships is when there is secrecy. when there's secrecy involved, like let's say you're on social media and your partner enters the room, you suddenly shut it down, or you suddenly close your laptop, or if, like I said, there's not that transparency when you request access to your partner's social media and they say no. But the question is why? Why do you not want to give your partner access to your social media? Why are you suddenly shutting it down because you're trying it, because there's something you don't want your partner to see when they enter the room? That's an indication of there being some sort of secrecy, and nothing can harm an intimate relationship more than secrets. Secrets can destroy a relationship. So yeah, if you're doing those things, or if, let's say, you are sending direct messages or instant messages or whatever they call them nowadays, and you're saying things that you wouldn't say if your spouse was sitting right next to you.
You know what? I think I know what you're talking about, but
yeah,
when you talk about secrecy, when I'm talking to some of my fellas, I don't want you to be part of that conversation. So that I might keep from you. So am I being secretive?
Well, if you're talking about some woman you had sex with last week,
I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about general TNA conversation guys might have.
I get it.
And
You're right.
if I'm doing that, you come in, I close it or I X out of it, because I don't want you to see what we're talking about.
Okay.
Because you get upset and then have a different view, or maybe some of my male friends. Is that being
no? But see, here's the thing: if you're just having a conversation with them, there's no need to close down the computer, because I mean, I can't really see that. I'm talking about, let's say, if you're you're talking to your guy friends. Let's say there's an engagement with some inappropriate engagement with another female, or you're on some porn site and you don't want me to know that you're watching porn. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, where if you're looking at it and your spouse walks into the room and then you suddenly shut it down. Now, yes, I absolutely agree that there are conversations that we have that our partners don't necessarily need to be privy to. Your guy friends, you and Lou and Gary and Donovan, some of the conversations that you guys have. And yes, I know sometimes they're men. Sometimes they're going to have TNA conversations. I don't necessarily need to be privy to that. Me and Jackie, we have private conversations that you don't necessarily need to be privy to. I'm not talking about that sort of thing. I'm talking about behaviors and conversations that are inappropriate. Those things are not necessarily inappropriate. If you're having guy talk with your guy friends.
Yeah, okay.
Nene said she agreed with you, Pop. But if you know your partner will get upset, I think a heads up would be nice instead of shutting it down. Yeah, what do you think about that? That's a good point. That's a good point, Nene. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's nice coming from Nisi, who happens to be female, because I can see myself saying, "Oh, baby, I'm gonna close it down because I don't want you to see what me and Lou talk about."
No. You don't even have to close it down. All you gotta do is, hey, babe, I'm just having a private conversation with the fellas.
Right.
Okay.
And you can go back out the room. Yeah, right.
No. You don't invite me out of the room. You just say, yeah, I'm having a conversation. Me and Lou and Gary, or me and Donovan and me and whoever are having this conversation. Because seriously, because I'm gonna tell you, even now when I look in your cell phone and I see there's a text stream between you and one of your guy friends, I don't open those.
Wow, I'm glad to hear that. There was a time, boy.
There was a time I would, absolutely.
And I had to ask them, I look at it as respect. I said, respect my privacy in that regard. Val, what I'm talking about with them, you don't need to look at. Again, unless it's something really inappropriate, I get it. But in general, don't open. Oh, that's
that's guys, and I don't do that. Okay. I stopped doing that a while back. Even when I'm looking in your phone and I see a guy friend talk, I leave it be. I do not open it up. Jonathan said, if you know your partner would be upset about, delete it. Jono! Oh, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. That's my son, but I'll forgive you, baby.
There's a small point to that. Again, I'm talking about something very
insignificant.
What's the wrong one?
What, baby?
Benign.
Yeah.
But it's just as guys, that kind of stuff I can see deleting to avoid any kind of argument,
Yeah,
discussion.
yeah.
I can understand where John's coming from. Just delete that stuff.
I get where he's coming from. Another way that social media can negatively listen, I'm a man. You're right, Liz. Impact relationships is when there's infidelity in online affairs. We know that's happened. I mean, I was reading an article and it said that 1 in 10 adults mm-hmm. admits to hiding messages and posts from their significant other. 8% of adults in relationships admit to having secret accounts that their partners know nothing about. And 1 in 3 divorces now start as an online affair. So, I mean, those things can happen. And just as you were talking about being on social media, and there was a time when you were hardly on it at all. And I was on it more than you. Mm-hmm. But now I think it's kind of switched. I think you're on it now more than I. On Facebook, you are. But anyway, there was a time when you were not on there much. And then once you got on there and you started seeing some old classmates, old friends from, high school and blah, blah, blah. And I would see that you were friends with these females I didn't know anything about. And it was like, hey, Harpo, who is this woman? And Frank would say, oh, that's my friend from blah, blah, blah. Now, wait a minute. At that point, he and I have been together for 40 years. 40, not 4, not 14, not 24. At that point, we had been together for 40 years. So I found it hard to believe that he had friends that I had never heard of in 40 years. So and then he and I had a conversation about it. And he said, well, you know what? Maybe friend is not the right word to use. We had a long discussion about that but this is your friend. And I ain't met this chick in 40 years. And all of a sudden she's showing up. Yes, Houston, there's a problem and we have to have a conversation because in 40 years, I think I've met all of your real friends.
Well, yeah, obviously. So obviously, these are people I knew from childhood that we hadn't seen each other, spoken to each other in 25, 30 some odd years. But we're just so quick to say friends, because we're friendly with each other, whatever the case is. Or we were friends at that time of our lives. So.
John said, delete the insignificant stuff that could be misinterpreted. Okay, that's what he means. Okay. You're right, son. That's a great point. But with the advent, that's why so many marriages have ended in a divorce as a result of social media. Because here's what happens very often. Let's say you had a high school girlfriend and now you're in your 30s. Or 40s and you haven't seen each other in a while and you reconnect on Facebook. And then it starts out benign. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm married. I've got 2 kids, blah, blah, blah. I live in Georgia and blah, 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 blah. It starts out like that. Then the conversations begin to come more personal. Then they begin to be more intimate. Then they move from the public stream to private messages. Then it moves from that to phone calls or text messages. And that's how these affairs have gotten started. There have been a lot of what I call Facebook affairs because people have reconnected with partners from their past. And especially when one of the partners feels like there's something untoward going on in their relationship. And they're seeking out another partner because now this partner, they're reminiscing and, oh, you remember how he was back in the 12th grade. You're not in the 12th grade anymore, but you're reminiscing about all that. Oh, you remember when you were juniors in college and this was your college sweetheart and blah, blah, blah. So those things transition from, hey, how you doing to eventually meeting up somewhere in person. And then a whole full-blown affair occurs. That's how these Facebook affairs typically occur. What are your thoughts on that,
Well,
Frank?
all I was going to say, that's just in life in general. Facebook or social media has just made it more easier.
Yeah.
Again, I think someone said it's not so much the Facebook is how you use it. And Facebook has made it easier for those connections transitioning from one place to the other. But that's just based on the people.
Yeah. And John says, past partners should be blocked from social media entirely. Easy problem to solve. That's a great point, son. And Nini agrees. Yeah, I think that's a good point. What are your thoughts on that?
Blocked by whom? Past partners, like an old girlfriend, old boyfriend, should be blocked.
Yeah.
But if it's an old girlfriend or boyfriend and you reconnect, I mean, when do you block? I guess you would block, obviously, if
you block in the beginning, or
but why would you block in the beginning? There's no reason to block
to avoid problems.
But again, if that's the case, a particular male or particular husband or wife might just block everybody because you think it's going to be a potential problem.
No, Frank, but see, that's the response.
What? That's just a
no. Hold on, because that's not what we're saying. We're not saying just block every person of the opposite.
I didn't mean finish. I didn't mean everyone. I'm talking about partner. Every partner you might have had.
Well, damn. How many did you have?
I had a lot of girlfriends before I met you, from grade school to time
I got you gotta remember, honey, from grade school. What? Fifth grade? Talk about fifth grade girlfriend, babe.
So I guess we might be talking from high school on.
Yes.
But I disagree where you block a past partner. That block only comes in if something is starting to transition or change from, hey, how you doing? How many kids? But to just say,
do you have the wherewithal to now recognize that it's moving from benign to concerning, and to now shut it down? Most individuals do not have the emotional, psychological, or spiritual wherewithal to do that. They think they can handle it.
Okay.
How many times have people gotten into affairs thinking, I can handle this? But it turns out that you can. Nisi said, why block them? Because they might get the wrong impression. Jackie says, set your account as private and people have to send a friend request. Right.
Okay. That doesn't defeat anything. I could get a friend request from someone I went to high school with. Am I supposed to not accept it?
Frank, we're not talking
I'm trying to understand.
Hold on. But you're misinterpreting everything that we're saying.
Okay.
We're saying people that you have a relationship with in the past.
How far back are we talking?
Well, we're not going back to kindergarten, babe.
All right.
I think maybe from adulthood. And again, I think the couple has to decide how they want to handle that.
Of course.
If, let's say, an old boyfriend of mine, we're friends on social media, and I am Facebook friends with, hold on, this person.
Oh, you're going to write?
I'm going to write the name down. I'm going to write the name down.
Oh, really?
Yes, and you know. Oh, but you know that.
Really?
You know that.
See?
No, but
I need to snoop, because I would have. As a matter of fact, I don't remember ever.
That. Because I've even talked to you about some of the things I've seen on his page.
Well, hold on. Seeing something on the page, I guess that makes you a friend because you can only see.
Right.
But seeing and then talking are two different things. Are you just seeing or are you communicating?
I don't think we communicate.
Oh, you see? I don't think.
No, seriously. No. There's no communication.
Oh, well, all right.
There's no communication. But we are Facebook friends.
There had to be communication.
Is an old boyfriend before
you had to communicate because someone had to send a friend request and someone had to say yes.
Absolutely.
So
and I don't. Yes, and I don't remember who sent the friend. But babe, this is not. Say you don't remember. He's acting like he doesn't remember.
I remember.
Because I talked to you about it.
But I didn't know you were, still talking.
But we're not talking. I said we're Facebook friends.
I'm just giving a hard way to go. At this point, there are certain things that don't trouble me.
He's just joking around.
Yeah,
no, but seriously, I think if an old boyfriend or girlfriend sends a friend request, have a conversation with it. Have a conversation about your partner with it.
Before you accept it?
I would say yes.
How come you didn't talk to me?
But I didn't. See, I wasn't as smart back then as I am now.
Oh, I see. I see.
I
Wow.
wasn't, and I think that might have come during those 6 years you and I were separated, and I was handling things very differently then.
Okay.
But I believe, ideally, if you get that kind of request, have a conversation. Have a conversation. What type of relationship was this? Was this someone that you were engaged to just before we met? Were you madly in love with this individual back then, and that person broke up with you and you didn't really want the relationship to end? Let's talk about it, because it matters. If this is some girlfriend you had when you were in second grade, that's a different story. We're not talking about that type of situation.
Okay.
What do you got to say? Because I know that face. 42 years, I know that face. What do you want to say?
No, nothing. I think I did that just to mess with you. But okay. I think I understand some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. I just don't agree with the conversation me and John, what we had at John's, where a situation comes up and you get a vibe. Can we talk about that?
Right, but I'm not talking. That had nothing to do with social media. That was in person.
Right, but since then, social media has come into play, because that's the only connection, is the social media aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do that all you want.
I'm just gonna drink my water
and mind your business.
And mind my business.
But that's where social media comes in, because of a vibe.
Right.
And then the social media connection, whether Facebook or a text. But again, the texts are there to be seen. There's nothing hidden. Mm-hmm. They're benign, but because of a vibe almost 5 years ago, I'm feeling some way. You need to shut all communication down. And quite frankly,
that's not the way I said it. Don't even mock me like that. I did not do that.
That essentially, that's the end result you're looking for. But sometimes I have a problem with that.
No, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Yes, I did feel a certain something, and I have learned to trust my instincts when it comes to situations like that. And the women who are on here, I think. Well, just tell me what your feelings are about what I'm about to say. When Frank and I are out somewhere together, I can typically tell when there is some woman who is interested in sniffing down behind him, or, as the young folks say, trying to push up on him. Okay. Frank usually says, "Oh, no." And men are not as adept at picking up on that as we are. But I can usually tell. And that's what I said to him, that I kind of sense that. And I think by now we should learn to trust that instinct, because I would say 90% of the time it's been correct. It's been correct. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, have there been any interaction with that particular female? There might have been a little bit of stuff on Facebook, a text maybe once a year or twice a year or something. And in Frank's defense, those things are there. He didn't delete it. He didn't try to hide it. But I still feel some kind of way when I see it, only because of what I sensed when I was in her presence around my husband. Nisi said, "Oh, yes, definitely." Yeah, you can usually tell. So that's what that was about. That wasn't specifically dealing with social media. That was something else altogether. Okay.
No, but all right.
It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. So, anywho, here's some questions to ask yourself about online or social media friendships. Questions to ask yourself. Do your conversations include things that should be kept between you and your partner? That's a red flag. If there's stuff if you're talking about stuff that you and I should be discussing, or if I'm talking to another guy about stuff that you and I should be discussing, that's a red flag. Okay. Another question. Do you find yourself daydreaming about these other people? Sitting around thinking about, I wonder what so-and-so is doing. I wonder if they're going to be at that party next week. I wonder if they're coming to that function. That's a red flag. These are more questions to ask yourself about these online or social media friendships. Do you look for excuses to go and see them online? Do you look for excuses? whether you're going on their Facebook or their Instagram, or can texting be considered social media? I don't know. Is texting? I don't know if that falls into the category or not.
No, because the only person who sees the text is the person you sent it to.
Or email.
No
is
one,
email? No, that's not social media either.
No,
so that would be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
whatever those things
Snapchat, and whatever those other things are. But do you look for excuses to interact with that person? Do you share your thoughts, feelings, or problems with them that you don't reveal to your spouse? You know, if let's say something in particular happened at work, or you had a negative interaction with a friend or a family member, you don't go and talk to your spouse about it. You go and talk to this online or social media person of the opposite gender or the same gender, you know, if you're part of the LGBTQ plus community. That's a red flag.
John said
emotional cheating. Right. That's exactly what it is.
What if you tell both people?
Well, you ain't had to been telling the other person anyway. Here's another one. Are you convinced that they understand you better than your spouse does? Yeah, my wife, my husband, he don't understand me. You know, he don't get me. But you know what? You get me. And here's a line that the other person a lot of times will say, well, if I was your woman, you wouldn't have to do that. Or if I was your man, it wouldn't be like that.
Yeah, come on.
But you know what's said.
Sure. Honey, of course.
That's what people say.
Of course.
So, you know, if there's any danger that the relationship might be crossing the line between you're crossing,
you ever said
or
that?
you're right
you
on
ever
that.
Said that to Bobby Joe?
Who the hell is Bobby Joe?
You get me, but my husband don't, or Frank don't. You ever? I just made up a fictitious name. I don't know Bobby Joe. You never said that?
Never said that.
Something else.
I said something else. No, but if there's a danger, let's say like this is the line. You're right. Your toes are right on that line. You're getting close to crossing that line. You need to back up. You need to back all the way up. And if you really see, here's the thing. This is a sign of a really healthy relationship. Let's say I'm in that situation and I recognize all of a sudden it's dangerous. It's dangerous. And I come and I tell you about it. And I say, you know, babe, what's the name you said? Jim Bob? But Jim Bob and I, you know, he's an old friend. We reconnected on Facebook and, you know, we were talking and we started sending each other instant messages and whatnot. And it got to be really, really flirtatious, you know, and I'm feeling that it's dangerous because I'm starting to feel some attraction for this guy.
I mean, yeah, that honesty is beautiful.
That is a healthy relationship. When I can say that to my husband, because now, here's the thing. Now we are partners in diffusing the Jim Bob situation rather than me trying to handle it all on my own. Now, does that happen? Probably not in most relationships, but a real healthy relationship where there is a great emotional connection, you should be able to, and trust. You should be able to say that to your partner and say, babe, listen, I shut it down. I blocked him. I just want to let you know what's going on. And if I hear anything from him again, whether it's on social media or anything, I'm going to come and tell you about it because I already told him to leave me alone. But if he bothers me again, now my husband can step in and say, Jim Bob, listen, hey, brother, I know what was going on between you and my wife. You're reconnected. And I understand that she told you not to bother her anymore. And she blocked you, but you got around those blocks and you're still connecting her. So now I'm involved in the situation. So leave her alone. I'm telling you to just leave her alone because she has already told you that. And you're not respecting what she has said as a woman. But I'm hoping that you'll respect what I say as a man. And it won't go any further. What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking, I like that, but I'm also thinking of a couple of ways that can go wrong. First, I'm going to say it's nice that you come and talk to me.
Right.
But how healthy am I to receive that? And now, as opposed to flipping around, accusing you of every night, accusing you all the time that something's still going on. Or he's still trying to reach out to you. Now I step in.
Yeah.
He coming out the pocket all crooked, and now it done got all ugly. Cause he a man. I'm a man now. Now we got to step to each other. Cause
no, but see, you don't need to fight.
See, it's easy for you to say. That's why I said it has the potential to kind of go all kind of wrong.
Yeah.
Because he don't want to listen.
But see, I'm talking about, and how did I preface it?
Yeah.
I prefaced it by saying healthy relationships.
I'm healthy.
Where there is emotional maturity and all of that. If I thought that you're going to go out and fight and carry on and do all that and run the risk of getting yourself arrested and put in jail, that lessens the possibility that I'm going to tell you. I need to be able to trust that you are going to handle it in such a way to avoid that eventuality.
Yeah, that you do. And I could until he continues not to disrespect me and don't listen. I'm going to handle it right. I'm saying, hey, bro, like you said, blah, blah. But it continues. But I get it. I mean, hopefully a lot of relationships can handle that.
Yeah. There may not be many out there. However, again, I said that would, to me, that would be the ideal situation. You feel like a clown? What, John? Jackie said, women too, John. If we honest with ourselves, we want to fight. Yeah, I feel you. Oh yeah, we do. I know. Remember, Frank? Oh my goodness, we don't need to go there. Okay, I don't think our children know about that, but that's going back a ways. You know, Minister Chase has settled down. I'm not out in these streets acting a fool no more. Okay. But yes, I think each couple has to really talk about this and decide how are we going to handle it. I think it's always best, whenever possible, to engage the help of your partner in diffusing situations. So now you guys are working together as a team in handling Jim Bob or Susie Q or whomever the other person is. Because I think eventually, whoever that other person is, yeah, they may try to break bad in the beginning, but eventually they're going to get the message and back off and just leave the person alone. Because it's one thing for that guy to hear from me to say, you know what, leave me alone. Listen, I'm married. This has just gone too far. We have to end it. It's one thing for him to disrespect me. It's quite another for him to now hear it from my husband, because now he knows that I've told my husband.
Well, okay, that's true.
But as long as I don't tell my husband, he's going to feel that he's got some leverage. Mm-hmm. But when I tell my husband now, that has a greater potential of shutting it down. Okay. But as I said, it's not all bad news when it comes to couples and social media. There's some good news too. Mm-hmm. I read in an article that more than 1/3 of U.S. marriages now in the United States begin online through a dating site and social media networks. 1/3. That is a pretty significant number. There are a lot of people. I know some people who have met on dating apps, and Facebook even has a dating app now. Facebook has, I think it's called Facebook Dating or something to that effect. And some of my clients have told me about a lot of other dating sites that are out there. Yes, you do have to exercise caution, but the fact that 1/3 of marriages now have started online, I think it's a good indication that it's possible. And that there are some decent people out there. Not everybody's on a hookup site. And they're just not looking just to hit it and quit it and, leave $5 on the dresser and go on about their way. Hopefully, if they're going to leave something, hopefully they leave more than $5. But, you all know what I'm saying.
Tip describes your service.
Huh?
Your tip
describes your service. So if it's $5, that's all they're worth. Oh, my goodness. That's terrible. Also, one good thing about social media, it keeps some couples in touch with real friends and family, and it's a way to strengthen the sense of community.
Okay.
Because there are some family members that I have connected with and stayed in contact with on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Some I haven't seen in years, and I connected with them on Facebook. Some of my college friends from A&T that I reconnected with. some high school classmates that I connected with.
And it just made me remember the connections I made with high school friends. And we only had a small time to re-engage and talk and reminisce. And the bond was warm and friendly. And I was so grateful because months later, or even a year, I think the longest might have been a year, they died. So I was just appreciative with social media.
Yeah.
With a couple of brothers that I reconnected with. And then, after that, they weren't here.
Yeah. And that was good that you were able to do that. And also when you consider that in some relationships, one or both members of the relationship may have to travel for work. And they can keep in contact and share stuff on social media. Here are some ways to avoid the negative impact on social media, on your relationship. Keep everything out in the open. No secrets, nothing hidden. Make sure that what you say online is nothing that you couldn't say with your spouse standing right next to you. Right next to you. Before sending a message, ask, is this something I wouldn't mind my spouse seeing? Because anytime you do something, it's totally a red flag. Anytime you do something that you wouldn't do with your spouse sitting right next to you, any conversation you feel like you can't have, I'm talking about with someone of the opposite sex or the same sex if you are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. Okay, absolutely says, Jackie, you got to ask yourself, would I do this with someone sitting right next to me? I know there have been times when, because you know how friendly I am and how I talk to everybody. I compliment everybody, male and female, and I do it. I compliment guys. Sometimes my husband right there, because it's not that I don't compliment guys just when you are not around. Frank, I have.
I'm just saying I don't remember.
You don't remember, but I have complimented guys. I've complimented on, yes, with what they're wearing, maybe their shoes. Sometimes I even ask what cologne they have on.
Okay.
Because I want you to wear it.
Okay.
So yeah, I've learned to not say or do or behave any kind of way that I would not with Frank standing right next to me. Okay. And I know you have said to me sometime, Val, you're talking to people, you're talking to this guy, he or she might take it the wrong way. And I don't even think about that when I'm engaging in conversation, because I tend to be more gregarious and outgoing than you are. And I just talk to everybody, male and female, old, young, black, white, Asian, Native American. I don't care. I'll talk to everybody. And I just pray that none of the men that I'm having conversations with take it the wrong way, because that's not how I mean it at all.
No, I don't think guys that you would speak to this point in our life would, but our younger versions, guys, you tell us our smile look nice, we're saying, oh, she won't give us some
advantage. See, no, I don't compliment men in that way. I don't compliment them on how they look, their face, their smile, anything like that. It's about what they have on, because if they're wearing something that looks really, really nice, I will compliment them, whether it's the shoes, the suit, a tie or something. I will compliment them on that. And sometimes, hey, where'd you get that? Matter of fact, when I went to Change Church on Wednesday, one of the brothers there, Losco, when I greeted him and I smelled this cologne, I said, wow. And I have saved it in my phone. I said, what's that fragrance you're wearing? Because I would love to get it for my husband. He couldn't remember. He couldn't think of it right then. He came back. He told me the name of it, and I saved it in my phone.
How long ago was this?
This was just past Wednesday.
Oh, when we come back, I'm going to see if I get that cologne.
No, but, do nothing that you would not do that your partner is not there. Say what you need to say and say it to the right person. Don't gripe about your marriage and your marital issues on Facebook. That's not what it's for. And I like these things.
I would agree 100% with that. Especially that, I call it that timeline. You don't need to be on there.
Yes, and then people put those so-called subliminal messages, where somebody, if I write something and it really is about Frank, but I don't specifically say his name, he may know that I'm talking about him, and people who are close to me may know that I'm talking about him. But what I should do is have a conversation with him and talk to him. Let's work out our issues between us, not on social media. Say what you need to say and say it to the right person.
Well, excuse me. Why is it saying that?
What?
Say something. Slow-mo is on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right. Don't worry about it then.
That's if I need to make a comment.
Oh, okay.
If I need to make a comment. I'm not commenting anything. And a couple should also consider setting some boundaries and setting some limits. I actually read that there are some couples who are even creating a so-called social media prenup that have guidelines within a prenup agreement for acceptable online behavior. And that might include not accepting friend requests from exes and that sort of thing. But couples can set boundaries and can set limits. Well, where whatever you decide, whatever you can agree upon, because it's difficult to sit here and say what those boundaries and guidelines are or could be, because every couple has to decide for themselves what those boundaries are going to look like. Another positive about social media, you can use social media to build each other up. You can say, wow, like if it's an anniversary or a birthday or a graduation or something, and you put accolades on there about your spouse and you celebrate each other. Celebrate your spouse, celebrate your marriage, celebrate your relationships. And I would encourage, I know that there are a lot of social media influencers out there, and there are some who speak negatively about marriage and about relationships. If you're in a committed relationship, I encourage avoiding that type of negativity and encourage and watch those who lift marriages up, who want to encourage couples that even if you have difficulty to work things out, that it's possible. Those who exhort marriage rather than tear it down. And when you're together, come together. Phones down, tablet down, computer off, all of that, because it's so easy, even in bed sometimes, to be on social media as opposed to engaging each other. I remember many, many years ago, even with television, Oprah Winfrey saying that she didn't have a TV in her bedroom. And No,
I'm chuckling because there wasn't a point.
I didn't have a TV in the bedroom.
I remember. Yeah, you said you didn't want a TV.
I don't want a TV in the bedroom because, listen, bedroom for two things: SNS, sleep, and sex. Ain't nobody got time to be watching no TV.
Yeah, but then when she's sleeping, I'm wide awake. Now what? I gotta leave the room and go watch TV in another room?
Yeah. Or cuddle up behind me, spoon me, do something. But yeah, and that's not the place for social media, unless, again, you and your partner agree. But at some point, phones down, engage with each other. A lot of my couples, I prescribe for them what I call the Focus 15. The last 15 minutes before you retire in bed at night, turn off all your phones, shut down the computer, shut down the laptop, and spend the last 15 minutes before you go to bed just totally focused on each other. I tell them, listen, you can do whatever. You can play tiddlywinks. I don't care. As long as you're focused on each other. The only thing you cannot do is have a conversation that has the potential to escalate into tension. That's the only thing you cannot do. Otherwise, that last 15 minutes, you focus entirely on each other. So that's all we have tonight, talking about the impact of social media on relationships. Babe, do you have any last things you would like to share?
No.
Okay. So again, thank you all so much.
Something happened, babe.
Nothing happened. What are you talking about? Everything is there. I'm looking at there's Jackie's post. She said, yes, I love to see posts from couples who celebrate each other. Yeah, me too, sis. But here's the thing.
Yeah, I do too when I see it.
When you see that, when you say that, have it be the reality. Don't talk positively about your spouse on social media and cuss them out in the house behind closed doors. Keep it real. Keep it 100. If you're going to say, oh, she's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but you're ignoring her and you're neglecting her and you're not paying attention to her, let what you say really be the reality. Oh, Liz says she loves the Focus 15. Yeah, I prescribe that for all of my couples. So thank you guys so much for watching again. Make sure you subscribe, share, and like. Hit that little like thingy, and make sure you share the video, because I'm sure that even if it doesn't apply to you, you may know couples whose relationships have been negatively impacted by social media. So share, subscribe, hit that notification button so that next time you'll be made aware of what's going on. We're not here next week, but in 2 weeks, we'll be back. I have a couple of guests, and the subject is going to be education and parental involvement. And I have 2 educators who are going to be on and discussing that topic. That's in 2 weeks. Education and parental involvement. You don't want to miss that. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button, and you can be made aware of that. Again, thank you guys so much. I love you all, and we'll see you next time. Oh, what was his name? Don Julius from Soul Train. Don Cornelius. What did he say? Love, peace, and soul. However he did it. Whatever. Good night. Bye-bye, y'all. Okay, there.
It's done.